Howdy, Taylor. How are we doing, y'all? This is yours truly in flesh, blood, and bone. I am Ghostie, and welcome to this little quick video. Knowing me, it probably won't be quick, but we will see. Obviously, I don't know who here has and has not seen the somewhat recently new show airing on HBO Max, but it does take place in the DCU, and it is called Peacemaker. And yes, that is John Cena. But even so, this actually isn't really even about him. But I will be going over said show and the events that take place, so hide your ears and eyes in case of spoilers. I probably won't go too deep into it and all them, but if you are that worried about it, then proceed with caution. But if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Do yourself a favor and just consume. Especially if you're trying to keep up to date with the DCU and everything that they have going on, like myself. Well, first watch the Suicide Squad from 2021, and then watch the first season of Peacemaker, and now join us now in the currently airing season 2, which has now put me in this position to make this video. So here we are. Anyways, moving on to our actual point. The hidden treasure that has sprouted out from the show and has since bloomed far past my expectations, not only for the character himself, but also for his role and place in the show. And you already know who it is by the thumbnail and the title and all that shit. This is Adrian Chase, aka Vigilante. And oh, how I love him! How I adore this man, my goodness. If you don't know who this is, you should look into him. And again, watch the show, especially. But like every other metahuman and costume freak in this, they all originate out of a comic, or even a show, or right where you're seeing them. Of course, depending on the character. Ah, fuck. Fuck it, we're going raw. Keeping it in. Oh. Anyways, if you don't know who this vigilante fellow is, let's do a quick little flashback, rewind time, backstory moment real quick. Because in the comics, this is where he debuted. Adrian Chase was originally a DA going up against crime, but through like law and legal battles. And I think at some point he was a judge. I think I read that somewhere. I'm not too knowledgeable of his comic history, but I definitely learned about him since meeting him in the show, because, again, I love him. But back to what I was saying, Adrian was a DA in the legal system going up against crime until he got too close to the old New York City mob, and which they went and pretty much just murked his entire family. Womp womp. But after that, he seriously like locked in, and he's just trained to achieve this peak male performance that you see on screen, and he has donned himself as the Vigilante. Of course, he's donned his badass suit, badass name, all that, and he's now new and improved, and he's came out of this a whole new person, pretty much. But he still is definitely, against crime. Just this time around, he's doing it in his own newfound kind of superhero fashion. Or I guess, really anti-hero fashion, depending on where you categorize these characters. Some superheroes, anti-hero, villain, and then there's a little gray area for like, I don't know, others, I guess. But as Vigilante, he would go against crime again, and of course using his old like legal system background to help him do so, going after criminals and killers that have slipped through the cracks and those that have escaped this justice system that he was once a part of. Sounds familiar? Kind of. Not really a character trope, but some characters do go down this route, so it might sound a little similar to some others I can think of off the bat, actually. And this story may not line up or be too similar to the newer one that we have in Peacemaker, but it is the same character at the end of the day. But this time we have James Gunn behind the wheel, and that man must have the Midas touch when it comes to all this nerdy shit and superhero mediums, because damn, I've said it before and I will say it again, he knows what he is doing. He's a big fan making projects for the fans, and with that you have to have at least a little faith, because I know damn well I do. I love what he puts out, I love the love that he puts into these projects, and it shows. I think so, at least. In his vision though, with this world he's created, Adrian Chase is still Vigilante, still fighting crime, but like I said, rather than being a DA, he's a busboy or something at a restaurant. But he is still Vigilante, kicking ass, he's a badass, and he's just batshit crazy. He's a lot of fun, and he's also like a murderous lunatic on top of it. Every screw, and I mean every screw, is loose in this man, and the actor Freddie Stroma plays him with such charm and quirkiness, and he does a phenomenal job. He really does. The more we see him, the more we learn about him. Obviously, that's how characters work. But like I said, season 2 of Peacemaker is currently out and airing. I'm actually filming this in between episodes. I think I just watched, what was it, episode 6 the other night, which made me really want to sit down and finally make this video and just yap about this character because no one else I have watches it. And I just want to talk about him because I think he really does have potential, more than just what we've seen too. But in Peacemaker, Adrian does have some family. He's most definitely anti-crime, to the point where he doesn't even spend any blood money, and he keeps all the drugs that he catches and all that kind of stuff. And even though his head's not on right, like, at all, he stands 10 toes on his morals, beliefs, and does what he thinks is right, even if it's his favorite color. We saw that in the first season. Oh, great scene. It's so funny. The relationship between Vigilante and Chris Smith, or Peacemaker, or John Cena, whatever you want to call him, is so genuine. I love it. But I can't even pinpoint what I like about him so much, because it quite literally is a bit of everything. The look, his personality, the character overall. And don't get me wrong, I love the crazies simply because the fact that they are crazy. But this dude is on another level. And I also, when it comes down to it, we do see more sides of him, and he is multi-layered, much like the rest of the characters in the show. And you could watch any scene with him and could cut to the conclusion of him just being comic relief or a gag character. But I am so glad to say that he is far from that. But yes, he is pretty damn hilarious. That really, I think I have a smile on my face every time he shows up on screen, and that is not a coincidence. But same could be said for the show itself, but it really does get real, it gets serious, and it gets emotional real fast. It goes from 1 to 100 very quickly, and you'd have to just watch it to understand if you haven't. So please go do that. Adrian really is just such an idiot, but he's also weirdly intelligent when it comes to what they do. And like I said, he stays down 10 toes. He does not change his face regardless of what's happening. And he really just stands out on his own. Plus, he's good at what they do, and he's a badass. Like, legit. To get a sense of familiarity for those who have or haven't seen him, I guess, I'll give a comparison that many others have given. And see, I really hate comparing characters, especially if it's like what I'm about to do with like different brands. But you know what, I'm just going to come out and say it because you probably know what I'm talking about. Deadpool. He's kinda like Deadpool, but not. DP is a hilarious, zany, violent lunatic, much like our boy Chase here is. But a staple of his character and his charm is breaking the fourth wall, and the often awareness he comes with. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. I love it. But for Vigilante, we don't have that. He seriously is just straight up fucked up. But we love him for it. So it works. And he does it all with full belief and confidence in and out of the suit. That too. You can't even see his face or obviously any of him with his suit on. But boom. Body language. Another gold star to the actor, Stroma. Magnifique. But back to Deadpool, we also have all his backstory and the lore. The mutant experience, you know, X-Force, X-Men, X's, even their regenerative powers, etc. And see, I know that they're two completely, obviously different characters, but it just goes to show how they can be so similar yet so different in the first place, and why this comparison works. Because that is probably the best comparison, at least that a widespread audience can understand, because they are very similar, but again, not the same. And for Vigilante, he debuted in Peacemaker, and we're yet to see more of him. I'm really hoping we do get to see more and more, because like I said with Deadpool, here's the quantity of things that have been made with quality over the years, and if we see more of this good man Adrian, I hope it is similar. Just give me more Vigilante. Here's the hoping that he also shines outside of Peacemaker at some point. Maybe a Vigilante spinoff, maybe a short, Vigilante the movie. If he does stay confined within the show though, I would get it. I could see if they don't bring him out anywhere outside of the show. Hopefully he is, even if it's animated. But the one thing, please, James Gunn, no matter what you do, no matter what anybody says, please do not kill this man. Please! Especially if Peacemaker himself will keep appearing up in the DCU. Keep the band together, for Christ's sake, please. I really fell in love with Vigilante when he first debuted, and I loved every scene since. Like I said, talking to Goff, the butterfly, to him talking shit to the prisoners, it's the Nazis, I should say, bickering, and then the fight after, kicking their asses. Even after all, fresh off episode 6, like I said, of him talking to an alternate version of himself in a different reality, and they even Spider-Man memed, and even mentioned it, which is great. It's just a lot of fun. There's so much life and joy to this character that can get a lot deeper and it can get a lot more, like I said, layered before. And I think we should see more of him. Obviously, I'm a fan of him. I strive to see more Vigilante in and out of Peacemaker, but we shall see, I guess. This video really is just me yapping about him because no one I know watches it. But I do truly think both Adrian Chase and his actor, Freddie Stroma, deserve their flowers, so that's what this is. So, hope you've enjoyed so far. Hopefully we see the character more. Hopefully he doesn't just fucking die in the next episode, because that would suck, I guess. But I guess we'll see. Hopefully we see more of him. Every side of the character, I would love to see some development. A lot of people have been, like, basically disappointed in his appearance so far and his, episodic development, which not much. To me, I've been fine. Obviously, I want more of him. This whole video has been me yapping about wanting to see more of him. So you all know what I want. But still, we have some episodes left, and we will see. I think James Gunn actually today just posted like a watch party, I think, for the next episode, or prior to the next episode to prepare for it, which is pretty crazy. So I have no idea what they have in store for it. But we'll see. But yeah, the motherfucker is sick. He's twisted, but he's hilarious, and I really think they can do some special shit with him. So here's to hoping, we see more of him again. But thanks for watching again. That's about it for me, I think. I think I've said what I wanted to say. I said my piece. Thanks for joining and hearing me yap. Hope you've enjoyed. All the YouTube stuff. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, yada yada. All that stuff. And that is all. So, yeah. So death to his part, my friends. Mwah. This has been Ghostie. Out.